and a sister who knows it more than say you and I in the audio, me and you in the studio today, Ginja, is Felicity. Yeah, Felicity Okolo, who has actually done us a great honor by coming in today, because what she has done is she has shared her story, yeah, her survival in the book, It Is My Life and I'm in Charge. And there are many questions I will be asking you today, Felicity, but one of the ones I want to ask you is, why didn't you just keep it to yourself? Why did you know? Because a lot of women, shh, it's a secret. We don't chat this. Yeah, but you felt not only to talk it, but to put it in a book. Why?
Do you know the question? I think, first of all, thank you, Culture. Thank you, Ginja, for having me here. It's my pleasure to be here. I think the right question should be, why should I keep it to myself?
All right.
Yes, why should I keep it to myself? Do you know, I said to women, if you don't report abuse, if you keep it to yourself, keep it silent, is a secret, is not, you are indirectly giving, actually directly, you are giving your abuser permission and power to keep abusing you.
And that is it. Do you hear that, Wild Talk listeners? By keeping silent, in fact, I'm going to just rephrase that. You give away your power, and you give another permission to continue with the abuse.
Not just you, but anybody else that man dates or marries.
All right, yeah.
Even to your children.
All right, and that, yes, and that was one of the other things when we were doing the research for today's show, was we realized statistically, so that means it's been evident, the impact of our children, right, who see it or could be in the next room and are hearing it.
Sure.
Okay, so without going into obviously into detail, sis, your journey through the darkest valley to your mountain peak, what were the key highlights, as it were, or key things that resonate with you on that journey?
Courage, strength, determination, and trust and faith.
Trust in who?
Trust in the unknown, trust in God, and having faith. I trusted that I'm not sure how I got to be here, and I believed and I had faith that whoever made me here or whatever brought me here will look after me after DV, domestic violence. Because a lot of women are trapped in that condition because they are not sure of the unknown. What will happen when they leave? Because from my book, like you will know, whoever gets to read this book, I had immigration problems. So I had 6 months visa to join this man, which after 4 years living with him has since expired.
Right.
So I had immigration problem. I had fear of finance. I had no training, no job skills, no education. I didn't know what to do. So, and I had 3 children who were then 3.5 years old, 2 years and 5 months old. I was 24. Where could I go in a foreign country? I know no one. I didn't know how the system worked.
Right.
Yeah. And what I'd like to say, Felicity, because of course I've just reviewed it and I did read your book with relish. What I thought when I read it was that, okay, let the listeners understand this, because you began in Nigeria as a 19-year-old, being introduced to a man 16 years older than yourself by your family and his sister as an arranged marriage, which you didn't want.
No.
But you went ahead with it anyway.
Because my family, my parents say to me, if you don't go, don't call us your parents. So I don't want to lose my parents.
And this is the thing, because pressure can come literally from the immediate family in terms of arranged marriages.
Yeah.
It could be peer pressure, and it could even be the pressure that we as women put on ourselves. Must have a man at any cost. Half a man is better than no man. Yes, and all those kind of nonsense. Yeah, and all those kind of nonsense. But without going into the detail, the first time that you were physically abused, why didn't you just pick up your children and run?
Then I had just the first child who was 3 months old. And I mean, I never knew somebody could be beaten so badly and you couldn't move. I couldn't even cry. I didn't know, because I was in so much pain. I wanted to cry, but I could not cry. I was no fluid there. And luckily, we had lodgers who came in to rescue me, or I think I would have been killed. And
your book showed that explicitly, I must say. I was there that first time all of that happened. And it was amazing that you even got up after that, and even more amazing that you forgive him.
Because you know, like so many other women, I thought it's just like the first one. I didn't know the other emotional, psychological, whatever.
Financial,
they were all
thing.
part of it. I thought it
Yes.
was the physical one. So I thought physical one, ooh, maybe it's a fluke. Ooh, maybe it won't happen again. Stay and give it another chance. I had a 3-month-old baby.
Yes.
Where could I go with a 3-month-old baby? I was now married. Ooh, you couldn't just leave your husband and go. Like, you know, there's so many
Yes.
oohs and ooh, you couldn't do this. Ooh, you could stay. Ooh, you could change. No.
Right.
And then, of course, what you discovered about him, the whole reason why he even married you in the first place.
Yeah, was to save his property. It's funny now, but it was when I found out, it's like, I felt like going to strangle him, because I cannot believe that this man could go to any length to save his property.
Explain to the listeners,
Yeah,
because he had
what
a first
happened?
wife.
He had a first wife. He was married to a lady, probably for 18 months they were together. And I found out later that he abused her while she was pregnant and she lost the baby and left. And because she abused me during my pregnancies as well, during the second and third pregnancy I was abused. And they bought a property that they had bought in joint names. So when she left, she filed for divorce. And according to law of the country here, you have to share the property or whatever, sort out people who didn't want to be part of the relationship anymore financially. He did not want to do that. So he told me, his barrister said to him, go and marry somebody else, have children. That way, you can go to court and argue that, now this man is remarried, he has children, why should we sell this property?
Right, and you see, and this is the thing about it, because I think this is what Ginja was alluding to. It's not just a thing about having power over somebody physically. Sometimes, in fact, that you go into relationships, whether legal or living with, right, with a very negative prerequisite, i.e. property, and if I need that property, then I'm going to get you. And I suppose that, and I suppose at the time when you became aware of this reality, what were your thoughts about your parents? I mean, did your parents know, or were they just as innocent?
My parents didn't know what happened, because my parents knew his sister who recommended me. They believed that because she was a good person, that he was going to be a good person as well. So they acted on that belief, which I felt, because he lied to them about everything. I didn't know, my parents didn't know. So when I found out, it was like, oh God, what have we done? But then it was kind of late. And when I found out, I knew that there was no point staying in this marriage, because this man doesn't give, you know, sugar honey iced tea, you know, about me or my children. Why stay? So I just said to God, please, get me out of here.
I want to ask you, from the time that you had that realization that I can't stay, right? I cannot stay, and like you said, you prayed to the Creator to tell you, how soon after you made that decision did you physically leave the property?
It was a year after I prayed, please get me out of here. I don't care what you do, but I just want to leave. Get me out of here. Prior to that, I learned about domestic violence through watching Oprah. I didn't know domestic violence existed. I didn't know how the name called domestic violence. So when I watched it after having my second baby, I said, oh my God. It was like waking up from this, I don't know, dream, thinking that this happens in the US, it happens in the UK, it happens all over the world. Not just a black man being horrible to his wife in London. Oh, it was nice. I knew the police could help. So I said to him, if you hit me one more time or abuse me, I'm going to call the police. That gave me certain courage.
And power.
And power.
Yeah.
You know, I knew. So I knew what to do. But then I couldn't go anywhere because I didn't know what else to do. But I believed since then that somehow this marriage wouldn't work.
All right.
And I needed to leave.
Right, and I want our listeners to hear, all right, this is a power, I mean, we're having this filmed right now, so you're going to link up on Wilde on YouTube and you're going to see this powerful woman, because not only is her voice passionate, her body language, you know, she is there. And the reason why is that if you're in a situation like this, did you hear the sister? This is a powerful woman who wrote a book, who is here sharing her story. From the day of the realization that she had to be out, it took her a year. And after the news, we're going to be exploring that, because we recognize what you do, what you hear today is not always what you do tomorrow. So stay tuned. Yeah, we're coming through.
Media Radio 104.